All right, Steve Burns here. This is week 7 for the Intermediate Photoshop class. So the video is helping? Yeah, good. Very, very good. All right. All right. It's going to be due on the 11th. That's our last day of class. Have it prepared and ready to go the first thing in class. So you will not get additional time before class to finish the final. So everybody heard that, right? Okay, good. Excellent. All right, so now this is going to integrate 3D. It's a fun little project. It's going to be kind of like a concept art idea, but we're going to integrate 3D characters and 3D objects in with your composited scene of photography and digital painting. So we're taking everything that skill sets that we've learned this semester and pulling it all together in one complete thing. All right, so you're gonna utilize photocompositing, 3D, and painting techniques to create a version of a story based in a particular era of your choice. The story can be drama, horror, comedy, fantasy, or science fiction. However, it must look and feel like a dreamlike fantasy concept. So basically, you're going to create some type of a fantasy concept. Create the background environment for the character or characters to interact. This does not have to be people. It doesn't have to be people per se, but it can be like dragons and monsters and stuff like that. If you find 3D content of that choice, you're welcome to use any technique and combination that you've learned in class to accomplish the assignment. Consider Adobe Fuse. Well, I'm not going to say consider. I'm going to change this here. This is going to be basically use. You will need Adobe Fuse for this one. So use Adobe Fuse 3D as your tool to accomplish your 3D characters. You can also use the digital program, any digital programming combination to accomplish your task. In other words, if you already have skill sets in Maya or other 3D products, you're welcome to create your characters in that. All right, and then bring it into Photoshop. ZBrush also works? ZBrush is legit. Yep, absolutely works. So the idea is to use your characters. Your characters have to be 3D content characters. And primarily the Fuse will be your primary program to assist you on this. So I gave you a download link for Fuse. They used to be on these computers here. They're not. So you download this, put it on your systems at home to create your characters. Once your characters are created and they're inside your 3D environment in Photoshop, they'll stay there forever. So you can bring it back to class here, and Photoshop will see it. Okay. This is another video tutorial I did on Fuse for another class. I thought that would be really helpful for you, so I just went ahead and include that in there as well. In addition to, of course, the ones that have been recorded for this class, you have that to assist you as well. So a lot of stuff. 30 points for this one. 30 points. So gotta have a minimum of 20 images in 20 unique layers, which is a piece of cake for a project of this magnitude. Create a minimum of two 3D characters that interact with one another to tell a story. So the idea is that the characters are going to interact with each other somehow, showing some sort of conflict, so to speak. Dress each character independently to represent your story. Like if you're working in Fuse, or if you want to use ZBrush, each character's got to have some uniqueness about them, different clothing, different looks, style, and all that stuff. All right, so to show that they are of opposing sides of some sort. Pose your character in a dynamic way to draw the viewer's attention to the story and scene. You're going to use Mixable for that. All right, we talked about Mixable last week. I'll go over it again today. That's going to be your online 3D program. Apply a minimum of 5 3D objects to help you build your environment. That means in addition to your character, you have to build 5 3D objects that has to be part of your scene. For example, it could be a garbage can, it could be a table, it can be something that's going to be integrated within your story to help tell your story. We've got apply painting techniques to integrate the objects to build upon the background and environment. let's see, establish a strong singular light source. Well, I'm going to kind of talk about that today, tips and tricks for that as well. Since we're using 3D objects and characters in here, you want to make sure that your lighting's matching all the way through. We talked about, pulling everything together in one 3D scene. That will be practical for most of what you do, but it may not be practical for your characters. I'm going to show you a tip and trick for that, at least in Photoshop. So what a lot of artists are doing is they're using Photoshop to bring in their 3D characters that their neighboring artist is built, and then they have to pull it all together in the concept art scene. Apply a background, so you have to create a background for the environments and the characters. It's got to tell a story. You just can't just throw anything in there you want, right? It's got to tell a story, right? So I'm giving you creative license as to what type of a background environment. I made a little note that this can be very simple, and photo composites usually work pretty well. So I would say, photo composite your background environment together. That will probably, take up most of the 20 photos that's required, and then the rest you can put in your 3D objects to interact with that scene. Okay. Create an atmospheric haze for a softer background. So whatever you create, you got to create some type of a misty environment. That's kind of like that's one of the criteria. It's got to be part of it. Somebody's gonna say, "Well, does it have to be misty?" No, the assignment says misty. give me some type of a atmosphere going on in there. Apply the use of smart objects in your workflow. That's probably a given. This one is given to you. Apply textures and other details into your concepts to give it more realism. All right, you're gonna do walls or whatever. It's gotta look right. Keep your perspective in mind. Create a category in Behance. Now, on Behance, and I'll look at that as well, you're going to upload a progress report using screen captures and JPEGs of how you create it. So you want like a little storyboard of how you create it, how you came about creating your particular scene. All that's got to be uploaded to Behance. Everybody who has a Creative Cloud has a Behance account.
Not? You said you might have a Creative Cloud account?
You need to get let's see. You need to have a Creative Cloud account for this one. I think you can get 30 days free.
I think there's a trial period.
Yeah, there's a trial period on there.
I don't think it's 30 days, so I think it's less.
You think it's less? Did they change it? It used to be 30.
It's probably long enough to do this assignment.
Yeah, it's long. Yeah, that's probably long enough. All right. Okay, but also submit your original PSD, and I'm also, in the last is 4 points for creative effort. All right, so this one, pay attention to. If it looks like it's thrown together, I'm not going to give you those 4 points. I want to see some effort in that this was pulled together in such a way that it's gonna look like it just works well visually. Perspective is there, lighting is there. Everything just looks like it's telling a story well. That's the only way. You want that extra, that 4 points. You've got to work for that one. Okay, so all right. So let me go over just very quickly again. Fuse you can use. You can use Maya. Again, you can use Maya. You can use ZBrush. If you're already fluent in other 3D packages, you're welcome to do this. Just remember, your object has to be saved out as an OBJ. OBJ is like your JPEG of the 3D world. Okay.
The 3D object.
Yeah, your 3D objects, if you're going to create it in another third-party program. That won't be you, because you probably don't have experience with other 3D programs, I assume. Yeah, you stick with Fuse. So Fuse, you initially are going to build the character here, but then you're going to also take this character and bring it into Photoshop as an animated sequence file. Right, that in that case, it'll be saved out as a collada format, which is a .dae format. Now, I went over this last week, but I want to do it again just to kind of refresh everybody's memories here. So, all right, I'll do. I'm going to grab this make scan number 2. Just double click that one and bring in the head here. So I'm going to begin building my character. So we got our head, our torso, our legs. As you notice, because I chose make scan number 2, make scan number 2 shows up automatically in the top left-hand corner here for your convenience. Rather than keeping it organized in alphabetical order, it's just giving you convenience. So go ahead and double click on the legs, arms, bring in my character. Okay, and there he is. Now, navigational tools are over here to the left, but if you just click and drag on the outside, kind of similar to what you would do in ZBrush, it'll rotate your model. If you want to pan your model, that's this little symbol right up here. That's going to pan in X and Y direction. Okay. This one here resets your camera. So if your body's moved over or if it's rotated in such a way like so, this resets it back. This is your selection tool for selecting different body parts where you can actually go in and modify these body parts. Okay, so whatever you do, kind of like rotate it around, look at your character, see if you got the body style the way that you want it. If you want to modify your body character, the body style, we're going to work in various rooms. A symbol room builds your the character. The customized room builds the body of the character. If you want them thinner or fatter or whatever you like, you can use this room for that. Clothing room is for clothing your character, and the texture room, you get to put additional textures onto the various 3D attributes. So in the assemble room, you've got your 3D character. Customize them here. Clothing is going to be a whole nother set of 3D objects that you're going to place on top of the character. And the texture is editing the textures on those 3D objects. All right, let's build a quick clothing on top of them here. Let's customize them a little bit. Let's see. What should we do? I can click on the arm, on the physical portions, and you can see as I'm dragging left to right, you can see the sliders moving. So it's automatically activating the arms, and these are the active regions, but it's using the upper arms as well as the triceps. That's what I'm kind of playing around with here. Right, if I want to make like a thicker, that's the longer arms, or maybe bringing them up or down, you can see the sliders moving. I can click and drag them, or I can click on the sliders. So if I go to the forearm, I can mess with this way. Forearm small or big. See that one? Like if I want thicker forearms or thinner forearms, I have that ability. Hands, I can make larger or smaller. So if I kind of rotate this around, target the hand, maybe I'll make it a little thicker like so. But you get to play with this one. Go to my legs and click and drag. So I want some thicker legs, maybe thicker thighs possibly. We can even come in here and deal with teeth and all of that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and target the head right up in here. It's going to jump into the head areas, and we've got cheeks and chin. We're going to scroll down here. We got the ears, eyes, head overall, jaw. It's mouth and nose. Let's see what else we have down here. Skull. All right. So we've got all these little possibilities. All right. Let's see, what is this here? Well, this is the brows. All right. So we go to the brows here. If I'm holding down the Alt key and left, it's a right click drag left to right, gets in closer. If I go back to my pan tool, I should be able to, come on. Oh man, I'm gonna see it. Huh. Oh, it's gonna be like duff. Okay, let's go back over here. Here we go. Let's go grab this. Let's see if here we are. Bring it here. Pan, bring it down. Okay. All right, so I click outside, say rotation. Well, here, we got it right. Got the head in here, eyebrows. See this? We can start playing around with expressions. Okay, cheeks, or for a smile. And I was swore under face, let's go to the face and drop this down. I have expressions: angry, awkward, cocky, confused, goofy, happy, worried, angry. All right. But then again, I can go in here and I can mix and match them, right? So angry, let's see, angry and worried. Let's go to worried. It's kind of a weird little look there. Confused. All right. So play with some of these on your character. All right. So let's go angry for now. Expressions. That takes it away, brings it back. Where's my awkward? I think I still have the awkward in there, right? Right below angry. Awkward's right there. Okay, let's take that off. We go back the other way. Yeah, that's a little more like it. All right, now let's go over to drop this to full. Let's go over to clothing. Let's go play with that one. Let's do something different than what we did last time. We have more shirts for him in there. We have all types of shirts. Let's go grab that one there. Okay. Sit back and relax. There it is. Putting a little shirt on that one. Looks kind of sci-fi looking. Now, once we create the clothing, you can go into Photoshop and you can alter the textures on the clothing. All right, to assist you with the project. If we go to the bottoms, how about if we grab, how about something like this here? Almost looks like the type of attire they did in the original Battlestar Galactica series. See, and the clothing's going to fit right over the body quite nicely. All right, I'm going to go to the shoes. And how about if we grab, what do you guys think? Something like this? That's cowboy boots. I don't want cowboy boots. Definitely don't want cowboy boots. Let's grab this one here. Or maybe you take a look at what this one looks like. Not bad. Let's see what the black ones look like. There you go. I kind of like those better. All right. How about hair? I'm not going to worry about, but you're welcome to play with the hair to give your character a different look and feel. I wear, well, maybe. Tell you what. Let's go with this one here. Little goggles there. Okay. Okay. Cool. Gloves. So I want to play with the gloves in here. Maybe we'll give him some gloves. We'll do these here. All right, so there's my character. Now, everybody here should already be well aware that you have access to the Creative Cloud, where you can actually save your stuff on the cloud. So no matter where you're located in the world, you can always go back and get your stuff you stored on there. You can, which they call it the Creative Cloud, or Adobe calls it your libraries, right? Here's your CC libraries. So save the libraries. If I click on save the libraries, I'll call the character name. I'm gonna call it I'm gonna put it all in caps. In fact, sci-fi character. All right, and I get to select the library that I've already organized. Now my library, I think I have one called 3D. There are 3D objects. All right, I'll put it inside 3D objects. Okay, so keep that in mind. And it's automatically saving it to my CC libraries. All right, now I want to check something else out while that's saving. So it's saving all the different assets as it's showing you there. Now sending model to server. So that if you're playing with this at home, and you're here, and for some reason your model isn't here with you, you can go onto the libraries and grab your model. There. Okay, it's done. All right, so save as. I'm going to go to export. I can export model as OBJ as well. I'm also going to want to export the textures. So I'm doing two things here. One is, everybody watch me here. One is I'm saving to the server the libraries, which is online, which I've already done. Now I want to save it locally. So target, export the model. And let's see. Export into a new folder. Let's see. Yeah, triangles and mesh. Triangulate mesh. Probably not necessary. Remove occluded polygons and pack textures and UVs. So yeah, I think I want to do all of that. I want to include the textures in the UV maps. Triangulate mesh. We'll go ahead and select them all. Now, this is the size of my textures, 2048 pixels. If I drop it down, I can go to higher resolution or lower resolution. I'll just keep it midway for now. Character scale, that's 100%, so that I will leave that alone. Okay, and let's see, save defaults. Now this one here, let's go ahead and click OK. All right, there we go. Now, we're going to find a folder to put it in. So let's go over to, I tell you what, I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to put it inside. No, I'm not. I'm going to put it in the desktop just to make this easy. Desktop, make a new folder, 3D character. Oops. Let's take off the caps lock. Okay, 3D character. And Comic-Con 2019. So I'm going to call this one sci-fi, right? Sci-fi character. And save it. Okay. So we have the ability to save it locally. But the whole idea is to get some type of an animation so we can get the two characters to work together. So next is send to Mixable to create my animation. So I find that Mixable seems to work better with either Firefox or Firefox or what's the other one? Google Chrome, right? So I went ahead and changed my defaults to Firefox as my default browser. So if I go to send to Mixable, it should bring up. Now here's my character name. I'm going to change that to sci-fi character, just like the others, because it's going to send it to Mixable now. All right, so exporting model to Mixable. Now remember, Mixable is an online animation program. On is here. Now we can party. All right, it's taking those time. We're on the school server. All right, so it looks like its success is pretty. There we go. Bringing up, there we go. There's the rigger. So what it's doing is it's actually adding bones to the character, because when you do animations, you're not animating the actual object. You're animating the bones, and the bones are attached to the actual object. So it works exactly how the human body works. Well, kind of, sort of. Of course, in the human body, it's not the bones that are moving, it's the muscles moving the bones. So let's give it a little time. Processing upload, and there is our guy. There's our guy, just as we created him. So I'm going to target finish, and I want to animate this next, and it's going to bring me into the animation system. And this is where I'm going to want to create my conflicting poses. or animation. So, for example, I'm going to kind of take a look at these, see what I've got here. Well, what could be something? Maybe this will be the antagonist, right? This character could be the one being that's being shot or hit or whatever. But let's go to number 2. Let's go to page 2. And we're going to find maybe something. This could work. For example, we even have some of these guys in armor. So you can go directly to Mixamo's site and you can actually pick one of these characters in armors as well. And they've got a variety of those. So just kind of spend your time playing around with this one. So here is the boxing pose, right? Let's see what we've got here. I kind of like the one with the kick, the side kick as well. So these are, now I love the roll as well. So if I actually click the roll, all right, I'm gonna take it and zoom back a little bit. Usually it would do it, even if I don't pause it, it would normally do it. Oh, it's interesting. There we go. There we go. There we go. Go to my pan. Okay, let me check something. I think this is an issue with my stylus. If I go to, I want to go to Firefox. Actually, I want to go to all programs. Go to all programs, mapping. Okay, that's disconnected. Okay, that's right. All right, let's go ahead and play this. There we go. If I go to pan, there we go, or zoom in, right? Pan. See, that's my stylus is interacting strange with this one. All right, so let's go back to that top one, which I thought was that little sidekick. The red one, this one here? Red in the middle. Red in the middle?
Yeah, just keep going down.
Keep going down?
Yeah.
There it is. Got him. Okay. All right, now we're going to download this guy. So Roundhouse Sidekick. Now here's something that's fun. Little tip and trick here. Let's go select on this. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's come over to here. Pull it on. Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom in some more. There we go. Pan it down. Okay. Rotation. So we can look at all different views. So you can study how you want your character to interact with the other one. All right, we can play with this. Target. Pull it over to here. All right. If we pull it way back below target. All right, and I'm going to come over here, overdrive, and that's 50 right now. It's speeding it up. Or we can slow it way down. Slow motion. Right, real fun stuff. Okay, go to 50. Oops, that's 100. All right, and trim, of course. So I can give it a little more time. Okay. All right. Let's download this guy. And what we want is not an FBX, but Collada. 30 frames a second. Everything else is going to stay the same. Download it. So in the Collada file is a 3D file that's going to preserve not only your character, but all its textures, camera, animation attributes. Does that make sense? And then Photoshop's going to be able to read that animation utilizing the timeline feature. So I'm going to sit back and relax. I'm going to let this finish up. So any questions at this point? No? Okay. So we went over this a little bit last week. I wanted to add a few more tips and tricks into this. So your Mixable is only going to apply what's called your motion capture data. So if you see those guys and they wear black suits and have like little white dots all over it, that's basically how they create the motion capture data. They had people actually acting out this performance, and they recorded it, and then included that data into the libraries. Okay, so there's Roundhouse Kick. Now keep in mind this is a zip file. So we got to unzip it to get to our 3D content. So we're going to save it, click OK. And the horrible thing I did is I didn't tell the program to allow me to tell it where to save to. So I've got to open up the folder here and go get it. Right click copy, because it went to my downloads folder rather than to the one that I want, which is up here, the desktop and 3D character, sci-fi character, and we'll go ahead and just put it there. Okay, so double click it to open it up. There it is. Copy those, go back to the root of the folder and paste them in there. So there are my textures, and there's my Roundhouse Kick DAE collada file. All right, now all that needs to be done now is get into Photoshop. Go into Photoshop. Let's open up a new document. So we'll do a 5" by 5" at 200 ppi. Just something to start with. I don't have to stick with that one. I'm not giving you any specifications on format. I'll let you use the format you want. And we need to go to our 3D menu, and we need to open up that file. So under the 3D option here, 3D panel, now I like to keep my properties attached down here as well. I will go to the drop down, go select the file, target create. Where is the file? On my desktop, where under 3D character, right? So go find 3D character there. There's my 3D character DAE, the collada file format. It sees it. Note I clicked on it once. And just get your curiosity, these are other formats that it's going to recognize. 3ds is 3D Studio Max. Collada is supposed to be the JPEG of a 3D world. It didn't quite work out that way, but its ability to save textures and camera and lights and animation is the idea. Google Earth, you can import STL files for 3D printing. Wavefront OBJs, which that is the JPEG of the 3D world, and other formats. So just to be aware you have those other formats there. All right, so Roundhouse Kick is selected and target open. This is a good thing. This is telling you what the dimensions of the object is in millimeters if you wanted to 3D print this object. Okay, we don't want to 3D print this object. We're going to click OK. Sit back and relax. A little, wheel is going. It's just about done. All right. All right, there he is. There's my character. Here's the lights. Here's the character. Let's rotate lights around. Yeah, we've been having problems with this lights thing, haven't we, in the new version of Photoshop. That's unique to my machine. It's not going to happen with you guys. All right, let me... All right, so once again, we're having that lighting issue. May have something to do with the textures. For now, I'm going to go back to my environment and just bring this up a little bit. Let's color this the intent. There we go. So I'm faking this with my IBL. Go back to my character. There we go. Okay. All right, you guys are not gonna have this problem. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put this on the server so you guys can go get this character. In fact, if let me just do it right now while you're watching. Let's go to Google Drive. All right, let's go to the school files and let's go to the, I'm going to put this into the 3D folder onto the 3D file, 3D folder on your student work files. There it is. So I got a 3D folder here. Let me double click on this. And what I'll do is I'll take that zip file and place it on there. So right here, here is the roundhouse kick, and I'll just drop it in there like so. Okay, so you have access to that. Then you guys get to play with this. I thought there were others in here, but maybe I don't have it. I probably haven't put them in yet. Actually, there is others. These are other 3D objects I custom built that I put on here for you guys to play with. That's the phaser, of course, and little textures for textures. And here's another example of a PSD file with a 3D object in it that I just placed up there. All right, so it's on that server. Okay, let's go back into let's go back into now. How do we get our poses? Windows, timeline, create a timeline. Let me go to my layers. The more layers that there are in here, the more it's going to take up your memory. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this one. All right, hit the delete key on my keyboard, and I think I'm going to replace it with an adjustment layer. Let's go with something like a gradient. And in my gradient option here for that adjustment layer, I'm going to click on the gradient symbol. It's got transparency associated, which is what that white box means there. It said it's making this area transparent. I don't want that. So I'm going to click on the box and say opacity is going to be 100%. And then I'll click on this one here and make that like a medium gray. Yeah. It's got kind of like a little bit of a gradient there. And click it. And of course, I can change the angle of the gradient, right? I want to keep it fairly linear, going up and down. All right, we'll just take it and bring it back up to there. Okay, make it linear. I can make it radial. All right, angle, reflection. We'll keep it simple. Okay, and put it beneath my character. There. Okay, just to play with this one. Now, create video tutorial. Oh, video timeline. There we go. So here's my gradient. There's my 3D character. Obviously, don't care about the gradient. But if I come over here to the timeline, see? Now the whole idea is I want to freeze it right there, right? So if I go to my 3D scene, go to my 3D panel, target the camera, not the character. Target the camera. And if I'm in the move tool, it's going to activate my 3D options here. So on the toolbar, click this rotation option. And since the camera is targeted, it's going to rotate the camera around my scene, right? And I can, rotate the camera. So I'm going to say I want this particular pose here. And matter of fact, we'll make that pose from that angle because the other guy's going to be falling backwards, right? All right, so that's what I want. So I want to freeze this. To do so, go to your 3D layer, right-click, convert to smart object. Done. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Something's changed in Photoshop. Let's see if I move this here. See, nothing's changed. It's just jumping back to the first frame. Okay, well, there is more than one way to skin a cat. So Photoshop has changed in the new version. It would normally freeze that object there. So if I double click inside here, all right, let's just bring it to there. And let's save it. Command, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and bring both of them up here. Arrange, tile vertically. All right. So in this one, if I save it, let's see what happens. There we go. All right. So basically, when you first make it a smart object, it jumps back to the first frame automatically. Evidently, it didn't used to do that, but it's doing it now. Now, if I want to go alter it, I have to go back into the smart object, reposition the way I want it to be positioned, save it, then it will save that shape. Okay. So
a smart object before you started this?
No, it was. The question is, was it a smart object before I started creating the initial smart object? No, it was a 3D object. Last week, everything starts as a 3D object, and then I altered to a smart object. Because when I brought in the 3D character, remember it was a collada file format. It was a .dae file we brought in, so it automatically brings it in as a 3D object, which is that little cube symbol there, bottom right hand corner. I took that and made it a smart object. Remember, I'm working with the newer 2020 version of Photoshop. You guys have the 2019. So your lighting is gonna work beautifully. It should. So once I have my character here in the 3D scene, I want to come in here and mess with the lighting. Go to 3D. This is what you want to have activated, right? But it's acting kind of strange on my system in that it's not really behaving properly, and I'm not quite sure why, just quite yet. Yours, you're going to see the lighting change automatically.
On mine, it has a 5 UFO lights that rotate around.
Oh, okay. So the question is that you have several different lights. You may have went in here and went to a custom preset. Right here in the properties. So if the light is targeted, every one of these have certain attributes. They're under the properties. You may have come to the preset and did one of these things. So if I go to like CAD optimize, you notice that kind of nothing. There it is. There it is. See the light change? Okay. Well, maybe this is what I need to do. If I go to maybe Mardi Gras. And let's see what happens. All right, it does something. It should be very purplish looking, but again, there's something going on with the lighting on this new version of Photoshop. And it may be unique to my system, so just be aware of that. So if I come back, let's see, I've got custom preset. Maybe let's try fire and see what that does. See, same problem. If I go to CAD optimize once again. That one works, but if you look at the CAD optimize, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 lights total in there. All right, if I go back to, I got front light, monster light, rim light. Let's try front light. That's a single light. See, and it's just going back to. Because under the environment tab, I have this turned off, the IBL turned off. If I turn it on, yeah, it is. It seems like something with the lighting is definitely, you're right. The global lighting is busted in here. All right, so be aware. You guys won't have that problem. In fact, I've put the file on the server. You can open it up and play with it a little bit. But anyways. Okay, so once you have this, I'm going to go ahead and, no, I don't want to save it. I want to go back to where it was, so Command Z. I'm just going to step backwards here. There we go. All right, so there's my guy there. Next, I'm going to save it. Command S. Boom, and there he is. Okay, it updates automatically. Close this one out. I don't need it anymore. I've got my guy. He's on a smart object. So move tool. It should keep it there. That's in its own layer. Then you get your other guy do the same thing. That's going to have another pose, another set of clothing. Maybe falling backwards or maybe blocking his leg. There's actual techniques where or I should say motion capture in there where one person's punching, another person's falling, one person's punching, the other person's blocking. Go through those, just research those animations out. It's kind of fun. And then, of course, for your final, you're going to build the whole environment around these guys. Maybe maybe he's kicking a person off. Maybe the person's sitting behind a table and is kicking him from out behind the table. Maybe that table can be a 3D object somewhere in here that you build. That's got to be one of your objects that you build. I believe I put in there several 3D objects are required. You can build them in any program of your choice or build them right here in Photoshop. Okay, was that helpful? Okay, so I'm going to just check something out real quick. So in addition to your two characters, the other 3D objects you have is a minimum of five additional 3D objects. So there's a minimum of 7. Your 2 characters and the 5 additional. And those objects have to be part of that scene. It doesn't look like it's part of that scene. So lab, from this point on, to do your final. I'll just be here working with you. Help you. I'll help you out with ideas and all that other stuff. No questions? Yeah.
Do we have the project, the product that makes the character on these computers? I don't think we do.
No, not on these computers. But okay now, guys, the question is, that's a great question. We don't have Fuse for these computers, but you do have Mixable, and they have predefined characters in Mixable that you can just save out, and Photoshop will bring them in as a DAE. So for now, play with the characters on Mixable, and they've got a bunch of them. Now these are just placeholders here, but you can actually go get the characters. I've got 48 up on the page. Let's see what I've got here. I've got big. You can adjust your thumbnail size here just to make you aware of that. I'll go 96 per page. And you have a guy here. Well, if you don't have a character that you've created from Fuse, you can actually go in and get the characters directly. Once you have, and you have something to play with and work with to get an idea of what you might want to do for your project. Then when you go home, you can go in and build your character in Fuse and Mixable, custom. But Mixable, now see right up here on the Mixable logo here, you've got characters and animations. If I click on the characters, there are your characters. So you can take this character, use this character. I'm getting rid of my other one, and there he is. Right? So for class today, you can do your project. You just use another character. Right? And if I save that out, the download, that'll download as a Collada file. And I can grab any of these guys, say, yes, use this character. Do not show me that warning next time. I don't want to waste time with that. So there he is. You can use that character. All right. So yes, you can successfully do your project in class. Here's another character. Oh, let me show you something else I want to show you. This would be kind of cool. So what if you want to go in and alter your clothing or your textures in Photoshop? If I go back into Photoshop, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this timeline that's in my way right now. Right-click, close tab, group. And in order to, I have to go back into my 3D file to do so. So double-click on your smart object. Here's my character. If I go to my 3D panel, where is my character? It's right there. It's called skeleton. a skeleton. Double click it, and maybe I want to call it character. All right. If I come right down here, these are your materials. That's your material. If I click on it, here's your material right down here. Now, what the program has done is it's saved all your materials in a particular folder. So here, oh no, this is all packed. I wonder if I actually put everything into one single UV map, which I think it did. So here's the UV map. Now, if I want to go see how the textures are placed on the object, the base color here, click on that symbol. It's a dog-eared folder, which is telling you that a photograph has been attached. Edit the texture. And there it is. Right? If you're in my Intro to Gaming Art program, this will look familiar to you, right? There's a UV map. There's a single UV map. A UV map is basically, you take an X-Acto knife, you cut a line around your characters, and you peel off the skin and put it on a flat canvas. That's what this is. It makes it easier for you to manipulate. Now, if you look over here, see these little lines in here? That's your actual geometry. If you don't want to see those lines, see this under the Properties panel, see where it says UV Overlay? Turn them off. So this is just an overlay. You cannot edit these lines. Right? If I want to change the lines to a different color, so it makes it easier for you to see, those are your UV, that's your UV maps. That's your geometry that's been peeled off and placed flat on the surface of your canvas. So if I say, for example, my gloves here, right? How about go to my layers, here's my textures there, make a brand new layer, and let's say I'm going to change the layer blend mode to color. And let's change the color on these gloves. So hit the B key for my brush, okay? And let's bring the brush size down a little bit. And I want to change one of these gloves. I want to change the color first to red. And I'm going to paint over that glove. So I'm tinting this glove kind of red. In fact, I want this the band of the glove to be kind of blue. Just like, and it's okay to go out because all these areas outside the geometry isn't going to show anyway. Right? So now, from here, let's see what I've got here. What's this here? See? Everybody see that? Now you've got red gloves. All right. If I want to go back to my character, and let's look at his body. Let's look at the there's a suit right there. Say I want to change the color of the lines on here. Remember, this is on another layer, so I can turn that on and off whenever I want. Working in layers, Command plus, get in close, and let's go to nice rich blue. Make my brush kind of small, make it kind of a harder edge, make it small like this, click and release. I want to turn off the transfer so it's a solid color. Click and release, something like this. Click and release, down, click and release, hold the shift key to go down, and maybe I want to just manually paint that by hand, just like this, and manually paint this by hand all the way down. And that layer that we're painting on is in color blend mode, so it maintains all the values, your darker values and all the texture, but it just tints your mid-tone to a different color. So let's say we want to make this one kind of yellow, going right across here. So make the brush a little bigger. All right, just as an example. All All right, if I go back to the character, see it there? That was the back of the jacket I was painting on, evidently. But if I come over here to my move tool, click on the ground plane, automatically throws you into the camera. All right, come on. Hate it when I do this off the page. See? All right. So you can go get photographic emblems like that could represent his particular star force or regiment and put it on the front of his jacket. All right, go to rotation. All right, so you can make those changes. You can go find textures to change the look and feel of his uniform. Does that make sense? All right. So yeah. So once you're in your 3D object and you go to your 3D panel, your 3D characters here, all of your texture attributes is right underneath it as a it looks like a little subfolder symbol. That's your material. Then right down here is all your various materials. This is your base color, and this is all the different attributes for those areas. You want to play with the metallic, the glow, the opacity, all of that stuff. Play with those areas.
Does it do that as like a group, or does it, like, will it change metallic? Will it make all the textures more metallic?
Is right. So the question is this working globally? Yes, this is working globally. Why? Because it's only one UV map. So everything on that entire UV map is going to be affected. Now, Photoshop has the ability to read multiple maps. That's called UDIMs. UDIMS. Okay. So UDIMs means it's multiple UV maps, and what will happen is they'll show up as a whole bunch of different titles like shirt, shoes, jacket, and you click each one, and each one will have its own material properties. Professional programs like Lightwave will allow UDIMs. Quite a number of 3D programs only allow for 1 or 2 UV maps, but most other programs will allow for multiples. Any other questions? Okay, go for it. I'll pause the recording.
What's going on?